Under the lights, it's the fourth and final game of the day at the USA Ultimate Club National Championships. The 2018 semifinals culminate with a classic. Seattle Riot, the 3 seed this year. San Francisco Fury, the 2 seed. They also happen to be the reigning national champions. Earlier, Boston Brute Squad, a 5-1 run to close out Molly Brown after the team from Denver tied it at 10. So it's Brute Squad in their 4th consecutive final, awaiting either Fury or Riot, 2 teams that are certainly no stranger to Championship Sunday at Nationals. Evan Lepler and Megan Tormey. We got Women's Ultimate After Dark. Late Night Ultimate, 11 p.m. on the East Coast, but we're still going strong. We're not tired yet. And these 2 teams, no one's tired of watching them compete. They've played one classic after another.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's the regular season or whether it's the finals or semifinals of nationals, these 2 are always sure to put on a show. I'm sure tonight will be no different.
Lots of interesting wrinkles that we'll discuss throughout the evening. Seattle Riot, founded in 2001. They've been in the mix for a national title seemingly every year. They've only won 2 national championships, the last being 2005. Of course, they were crowned world champions this summer in Ohio. A Hall of Famer was inducted this weekend who still's playing. Dominique Fontenette in her early 40s. I'm not sure she's regressed as a player. She's still one of their key superstars.
Her career of greatness has spanned decades. From when she won the Callahan Award in 1997, she has been a constant producer for her team. And you can watch her on the field. She has the mentality of a champion. It'll be fun to watch her play tonight.
She had a huge smile on her face last night at the Hall of Fame ceremonies. Looks like she's got her game face on this evening. And how about San Francisco Fury? Matty Sang took over as coach in 2006. They ran off 7 titles in a row. Got back to the glory last year in Florida. And the big reason why was Alex Snyder. Her throwing ability made her an 8-time champion. And let's say if Dom is a Hall of Famer already, this is a no-doubt first ballot. Let's just throw her in tonight, Hall of Famer.
I couldn't agree with you more. She's an individual who knows what it takes to be a champion, as evidenced by her multiple championships notched on her belt. Then last year, she single-handedly carried her team to victory when they returned to the fields of Sarasota.
These 2 teams have played 4 times already this summer, including the World Ultimate Club Championships. They've been close, competitive games. We hope for another one tonight to cap off our semifinal Saturday. The kids are having fun. The adults are ready as well. Hope you are too. Opening pull coming up. The 2018 USA Ultimate National Championships are presented by VC Ultimate, providing Ultimate's best custom team uniforms and apparel since 1998. Visit VC Ultimate on the web at vcultimate.com. And by Discraft, the official disc of USA Ultimate, now available at Midwest Meyer stores and over 2,000 retailers nationwide. Seattle Riot's starting 7 features Rachel Bradshaw, Charlie Eide, the teenage sensation Claire Trope, Charlie Mercer, Kelly Vegas Johnson, with Gina Titcomb and Steph Lim, Gina's sister Rory, one of the 3 coaches of Riot, along with Andy Loveseth and the great Fury and Riot player Gwen Ambler. San Francisco Fury, the former Riot star Serge Griffith, former Scandal star, she also played for Molly Brown, of course, Opie Payne, Howard Rudin, Snyder, Finney, and Johnson for Matty Sang, Idris Nolan, and the now retired and coaching Ness Fajardo. Well, if you haven't been following Women's Ultimate all year long, you're like, wait, Sarah Griffiths is on Fury? Ian Toner, can you make some sense of this?
Can, Evan, and as you were alluding to earlier, Sarah Griffith concluded her Riot career, 10 seasons, multiple world championships, by catching the championship clinching goal at the World Ultimate Club Championships back in July. Tonight marks her first game competing against Riot in a national championship setting.
Griffith, 5 goals on the weekend. She has played against Riot 1 time. That was on August 25th. The last tournament of Fury's regular season in the Bay Area. One final high five with Cree Howard is the ideal way to prepare for the opening pull. Fury won the toss and chose to start on offense, which, Migos, I would say is the minority choice among Ultimate teams. What do you think about Fury's decision to start on O?
Well, you know, Fury has more national championships than I do, so there's something.
Only by 10.
Right. Just a couple if you're putting it in general terms. So clearly there's some thought behind that. But yeah, a lot of times it's great to start out on D because then you know you're going to get the disc on offense when halftime is over.
You've broadcast more national championships than they have.
That is true. That is true. I do have that on them.
Alex Snyder will march the disc to the brick. Asked her how she was feeling. She said she's feeling great. I said, you wouldn't prefer to be more windy? She said, it's okay if it's nice and calm too, and it is tranquil right now here in San Diego. Some breeze earlier today, but serene playing conditions right now. I think Maddie said everyone on our team is a thrower tonight. Here's Maggie Rudin carving up space downfield against Rachel Bradshaw. Sarah Griffith being chased by Charlie Eide, and a very quick score. You wonder if we're going to have a lot of that tonight because there's no wind and these two teams are electric on offense.
Right, it is going to take some really strong defensive adjustments from both teams in order to minimize the throwing powers of just the incredible depth of talent on both teams.
When they score so quickly, we can show you the entire point again. Griffith setting up Payne, and yep, you're in the end zone, Opie.
If you thought that perhaps Surge would have any difficulty performing against her former team as the national championship finals is on the line, her throwing the first assist has certainly squashed that conversation.
I asked Rory Titcomb what emotions came to mind when she saw Sarah Griffith in blue and yellow, and she thought about it and basically just said cognitive dissonance. Like, it doesn't really make sense, but I don't think there's any animosity there. I think everyone on both teams kind of understands, and look, this is not the first time that a Fury player has gone to Riot or vice versa. It does seem like a big deal because she was so clutch and crucial for Riot in numerous world championships. 14 in Lecco, 18 in Ohio. Jack Verju, one of the next Riot superstars. Hannah Kawhi resets to Alyssa Weatherford. Kawhi, Riot's Poofall nominee, floats it to near the end zone where Verju takes a hop and quickly tosses to Shira Stern for the opening goal for Seattle.
A bit of a tight toss to Verju here, but you're allowed that kind of throw to an athlete like Verju. Just known for maintaining position and being able to step in front of their defender, always keeping the space necessary to make the play. And then very heads-up play from Verju, noticing just outside the end zone, quick turn, Shira Stearns is there for the score.
As Stern continues to amaze, now in her 6th season with Riot, former University of Washington standout. And Jack Verju, she the favorite for the 2019 Callahan Award? I don't know, but the fact that she still has collegiate eligibility and a couple of years of it speaks to how prominent a player she is. Just 21, but in her 4th season with Riot. Seattle 4-0 in the tournament, outscored their opponents 60-33 in those 4 games. They had 3 losses during the season, 2 of which came to Fury. 1 came against Traffic from Vancouver. Mentioned it during the first women's semifinal tonight. The top 4 in women's ultimate this year, Brute Squad, Fury, Riot, and Molly Brown. Only 1 loss in the regular season to a team from outside the top 4. Riot's set back against traffic. That's a majestic shot, perfectly put. Cree Howard runs it down in the end zone for San Francisco. No turnovers through the first 3 points.
Last semifinal, we talked a lot about Brute Squad's polish. I think the team that has equal amount of polish, especially on offense, is definitely Fury. Just like Brute Squad said, we're not going to add anything prior to Nationals. We're just looking to perfecting our system. Fury is a similar sort of team. I talked with now coach Ness Fajardo prior to Nationals, and she said, you know, every year is basically an evolution of the previous year. We talk about things that we did that worked, things that we did that almost worked, and we want to make minor changes. She said sometimes they work on a system, either offense or defense, for years before they bring it into play at Nationals. And sometimes even after years of development, they decided to scrap it and try something else. She referenced an end zone offense that they had been working on for 2.5 years before they finally said, you know what, this is just not working, we're not going to do this anymore, and moved on to the next thing. You have to work on systems for that length of time for it to look as clean and polished and reliable as Fury's offense tends to.
They outscored their opponents 60-27 so far at Nationals in their 4-0 march to the semifinals. 3 wins in pool play and then a strong performance in the quarters. Fury with 3 losses during the season, 1 to Riot, 1 to Molly, 1 to Brute. Not sure we're making enough about Boston Brute Squad. 1 game away from an undefeated season. They're 27-0. Doesn't feel like it. We saw them lose in the quarters at the World Championships, which, speaking of cognitive dissonance, Brute Squad losing in quarters was a pick down field, and finally Riot's Hannah Kryl-Camp realizes it.
It stays here. It stays here. It's just going to come in on 1. It's just going to come in on 1. No contest, yeah?
Uncontested?
No contest. Come in on 1.
Certainly get the sense with the calm conditions, turnovers will be at a premium. Offenses have been basically perfect so far. That disc high off the fingertips of Sam Rodenberg. And the game's first giveaway leads to Anna Nazaroff picking up on her own goal line. Anna Nazaroff, a superstar in her own right, former Callahan Award winner multiple times on Team USA, World Games, WGC, etc. She's been plagued by some back injuries here at Nationals, has not played in every game. Griffith calls a foul. No contest from Verju. And Serge takes a timeout after the replay confirms the call. A look at how these two teams have fared against each other this year. June 23rd, June 24th. They always meet super early at the Solstice event in the Pacific Northwest. Fury won on Saturday, Riot won on Sunday. Then they met in a power pool game Tuesday afternoon at Worlds. It was a game for seeding. It actually put Riot in a really good position. And I need to correct myself. It was Fury that lost in quarters at Worlds. Brute Squad lost in semis to Revolution. But Fury getting the win by adding Serge Griffith, playing well down the stretch. Sarah Griffith, first time going against Riot in that last game, a 15-12 win in late August. It was a bizarre World Championships for both Fury and Brute. Neither of them, frankly, looked great. The best teams at that tournament were obviously Seattle Riot, the women from Medellin, Columbia Revolution.
And I talked with Vegas about how well they performed at Worlds, winning it. I said, what did that mean to you? How did you feel? And she said, because we didn't earn our spot, we got to go in because another team dropped out. It was interesting to see how half the team felt like, there are no expectations. Nobody thought we would be here. And the other half was still reeling from the 2017 loss to Ozone. However either side of the fence felt, that fueled them, and they were just relentless through their pursuit of that world championship.
Megan, that's a great point, and it's a fascinating situation because Riot did lose in the quarters last year for the first time in forever. And they did not qualify for Worlds, but by finishing 5th, they got that 5th USA spot that WIF Diff awarded. And I think I remember saying that they didn't get qualified to Worlds. They get in, they'll probably win the thing. And of course they did.
Well, Vegas talked about how that mentality has just fueled their season. They went into Worlds, like I said, either thinking that they didn't belong there, so there are no expectations, or being angry. And whatever fueled them continues through now.
Haynes' throw intended for Griffith, wide of the mark, out of bounds. Fury's first turnover. That throw had no chance. Opie certainly knew it went left her hand. It's a crafty toss from Weatherford to Soper. Bailey Zahnizer downfield for Hannah Kawai. Verju runs it down, chased by Fletcher. To the brink of the end zone and in. Verju to Cryocamp. One turn per side on the point, and Riot equalizes it 2-2 early. Jack Verju assisting on both of Riot's early scores.
And watch Cryocamp as she's running alongside the very front of the end zone. As soon as Verju's throw goes up, Cryocamp maintains eye contact with the end zone line and hops over just as she's grabbing the disc.
So Cryocamp the score, Verju the assist. We're tied 2-all. Obviously these teams have had many great games through the years, and I apologize to Seattle fans for bringing this up, but this is 10 years after the most improbable comeback in national championship history between these two teams. When Riot took half 8-1 in the final, went up 10-1. And you made me think of it before, Megan, because you were talking about how Nes Fajardo said that they take years to develop certain systems. Not that day. They developed something on the fly, something new when they were down 10-1, kind of a box-in-one zone that put the one on the reset, took away the reset. They came back to win as Snyder shoots it deep, and that throw is going to be knocked down out of bounds. Alex Snyder was a part of that 2008 comeback team. But the block for Riot and Lindsey Wilson gives Seattle a chance for their first break.
The fields of Sarasota were electric during that game, Evan. I don't care if you were there cheering on Fury or Riot. Everyone was in awe of the fact that Fury was absolutely taking over, and there was nothing that Riot could do about it.
Oh, Kaler fouled the thrower on the mark. Charlie Mercer. Believes it was a foul.
think that we had contact on my throwing motion, and you hit disc cleanly after.
Okay, I think I hit this first and the motion happened after. So, I'm going to contest still.
Okay, do you want to leave it as a foul contest, or do you want to come to me for a ruling?
I'll defer to you on that one.
I think foul contest is fine.
Okay, we're going to leave it as a foul contest.
Okay.
A diplomatic sequence between Mercer and Kaler, which isn't that surprising because Charlie Mercer's dad works for the branch of the government that is involved in creating American passports. And if you ever look at your passport and wonder, why do we have these cool quotes about patriotism in America on the top? Charlie is one of the reasons why. Because her dad was asking about her ideas. She was like a teenager, and she told her dad, why don't we put quotes on the top? And now all American passports have cool quotes on them as the Riot deep shot goes up. This is Trope. Can you get there? Yes! Was there ever a doubt? She's 19.
That ain't right.
First break of the game goes to Riot on the Kelly Johnson huck.
Johnson rips it, knowing that with Trope she can do no wrong. Trope running it down. Every ounce of speed necessary. And with the final punctuating layout for this Riot score.
Sports Center top 10 nominee as Trope runs it down. Absorbs the contact, hangs on for Seattle Riot. And even bigger than the bid, the implications of it. The first break of the game. Not giving Fury the disc back on a still night. 3-2 Seattle.
Yeah, as you said earlier, these turnovers are going to come at a premium. And it's going to be the team that can capitalize on those opportunities faster is going to make all the difference in this game.
You need a disc to pull, so Chyna Titcomb gets it from her sister. Saw Juliana Werfele last game. I think Chyna Titcomb, along with Werfele, in the conversation for best pullers in the women's division. Madison Heiss, Robin Wiseman probably has a stake to claim in that battle as well. Wouldn't mind having Alex Snyder on my team as a puller either. Opie Payne fires. Griffith reads it, makes the play. It looked like Rachel Bradshaw had an angle, but as she's certainly done many times against Riot players in practice, Serge comes up with a disc in the end zone.
Look at that put from Opie Payne. The inside flick to make that disc fly straight down the line. Now, Serge had tight coverage that entire time, and Bradshaw is a formidable opponent, but Opie hedged her bets on Serge's ability to play the disc just a little bit better.
On that first angle we saw coming right into your living room, did you notice the look on Payne's face when that disc was in the air? There was a little uncertainty. Watch Opie's face. Is it gonna work? Oh yeah. You threw it to Serge. Turnover, free hold. 4 of the first 6 points have been turnover free. Only one break so far in a 3-3 game. Riot receiving up a break. Been interesting to watch Octavia Payne assimilate into that Fury system and find her place in the mix of so many other great players. Soper up the line for Felice Cardenas. There's Kawhi. A similar sequence. Here's Verju in the end zone, body to body. Was there a doubt? Jack Verju delivers yet again for Seattle Riot.
Verju is just so great at reading the disc. Verju aims to keep the defender at the back the entire time while reading the disc. As you said, Evan, was there ever a doubt? Not really with Verju in the end zone.
We saw this a lot in the World Championships where Verju just made such an impact in a number of different ways, but largely using the size that Jack possesses. And it looks like both teams so far, Meagles, are basically just going to matchups that they like. You go to Verju, we'll go to Griffith. You go to Howard, you go to Trope.
Yeah, I think the team that wins this is the team that's going to have to get a little craftier coming down to just matchups. I don't know. I think if this game goes tit for tat, continues to go tit for tat, I like Fury's chances just a little bit more. I think mentally they stay stronger, longer in these sorts of games than Fury does. Excuse me, than Riot does.
Howard, nice vision. And the deep shot flies. Griffith again. Not this time. Charlie Eide wins that battle. And then she throws it away, and that's the easiest Callahan Fury's ever had. Kirsten Johnson takes the gift. A break, and it's 4-4. Beg your pardon, an offensive hold for Fury to tie it at 4.
Heidi's presence causing Surge to go up just a hair too early. And then what should have been a simple reset was just thrown a little too flat, a little too wide. Fury all too fast to capitalize. As you said, Evan, I don't think Fury's ever going to see a Callahan this easy anytime in any nationals in the future.
Bizarre. I've never really liked the term conservation of greatness, but I mean, you get a D on Surge in the end zone, and the Frisbee gods are like, no.
That doesn't come for free.
Heidi throws the Callahan. Johnson runs it down, and we're tied at 4. Riot still up a break. The only break of the game was Johnson to the bidding Trope to make it 3-2. Chatting with Rory Titcomb before the game, the Riot coach talked about that. Frankly, their team was grateful for this opportunity to be here because, I mean, it feels like Riot's been in the semis every single year, and for 16 straight years that was the case, and then last year's quarterfinal against Ozone happened, and it was a bad dream that wouldn't end. Of course, in Ohio, the bad dream ended in a pretty good way for Riot, but in terms of nationals, I mean, this is their 17th time in the last 18 years in the semifinals. But last year still fresh in their minds.
Uncontested, offensive foul.
Uncontested. Committed by whom?
Uncontested offensive foul.
Okay, so count reach +1. Okay. Okay.
By the way, this is Fury's 14th straight year in the semifinals. Every year since 05, Fury is 10-3 in semifinals since 2005. Riot's 11-5 in their semis since 2001. Julia Snyder up the line into the end zone, and well, that's a score. Cryo Camp's got another for Riot.
First, I thought perhaps Lynn might have an opportunity to make a play on that disc. Cryo Camp here just being absolutely valuable to the team, making sure she closes out the distance to the disc and the end zone first.
Julia Snyder out of Carlton. There was a time I thought she and Alex were sisters. I don't believe they are, but they look a little bit alike, and they both throw really well, so you just kind of assume. Snyder, of course, won the Callahan at Colorado. Julia Snyder at Carlton played for Syzygy. 5-4 Riot. Brute Squad, presumably relaxing, enjoying some dinner, and awaiting their opponent for tomorrow. Brute Squad played Fury in the finals last year, lost by 1. Played Riot in the finals the previous 2 years. Brute Squad won. 2 years ago was a Universe win. 3 years ago was a comfortable victory for Brute Squad for their first championship. Here's Derek Clancy. And a tight space reset. Nazaroff, though. Quick pivot, release. Kayla Helton. And wow, Kelly Johnson goes flying, and Riot has the disc.
That's the Vegas special. Just when you think you've made a score, not so fast.
I'm not sure we have time for you to tell the story of how Vegas got her nickname. It's a long story.
And epic.
It is a legendary tale for sure. You can ask Vegas about it sometime, and if she has half an hour, she'll tell you. Here's Claire Trope. Sheena. Cassie Swafford. Callahan Award winner at Ohio State finds Johnson. A satisfying bookends for Vegas. That's a second break for Riot.
From one end zone to the other. Kelly, Vegas, Johnson leaving her mark on this game.
How has Vegas evolved as a player? You played with her during her young days in Chicago.
Well, one thing that has remained the same from the very start to now is her intensity as a player. When she steps on the field, she intends to win. Whether she does that through her teammates, with her teammates, or by herself, she's going to put the effort in to get the job done. She has become more dynamic as a player, has learned to spread the field just a little bit more, time her movements well. Her throws have improved, her athleticism has increased, but as I said, the heart of it all is her intensity as both a person and a player.
Now 31 years of age, but prioritizes her training as much as anybody in the sport. So still plays like she's in her mid-20s. 6-4 Seattle. And Fury, which looked so good on their first couple of O points. Turnover, free hold that Griffith the Payne play to start, and then Finney, a kind of a daring throw to Howard near the sideline, but it worked perfectly. Now Fury having a little bit of trouble against this Riot defense. And one thing about these two teams, Megan, obviously they know each other so well. They've played so many times. The players on both teams have competed as teammates on a variety of national teams, on grass and beach and all-star games, etc. A lot of it just comes down to execution and sometimes momentum and mojo. Here's Finney. Johnson to Finney. Zone defense look from Riot. It's interesting that on basically a windless night, Riot throws zone up 6-4 in the first half. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, zone in good weather doesn't generate a lot of opportunities.
Snyder slices the throw to Helton, who needs a reset.
And then when you're throwing zone in good weather against a team with the kind of throwing power that Fury has.
Hold on a second. There's a pick called.
Pick uncontested. Are we putting it on? Pick, yes. Okay. Being on 5? Stalling 5?
Stalling
It's on you.
Beth Kaler. Little give and go with Finney. Now Helton. Now Snyder to Finney. A great handler defense there from Sheena Titcomb. But better downfield cut from Bethany Kaler.
Yeah, better cut from Kaler, but all the same, you do have to give credit to Riot for keeping Fury out of the end zone for as many passes as they did. To kind of finalize my thought about Riot throwing zone that entire point, seems like a strange decision, certainly not one that I would have made, but I did also say that I think the team that wins this is the team that's going to get crafty with their decisions as opposed to just trying to go tit for tat. And throwing a different defensive look, even if it doesn't necessarily pan out, does slow the offense. Anytime you can slow an offense, like Fury's offense, you give yourself a better chance to generate opportunities and then, of course, capitalize.
Maddie Sang singled out Beth Kaler as one of the players that he thought had made great strides, had been playing really well. This is the 10th anniversary of the craziest comeback in Ultimate history. I'm not sure anything else is close. It was 8-1 in the final, and then it was 10-1 in the final before Fury stormed back. It was unbelievable. Gwen Ambler, who's now a coach of Riot, was a member of Fury at that time. Alex Snyder was on the team. Maddie Sang looks back at that as probably his most memorable win in a USA Ultimate National Championship. It was so surreal. And were you there?
I was there. And sitting on the sideline, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter who you were cheering for. You were just in absolute disbelief that Fury continued to score point after point.
Hold on. Dominique Fontenette, Alden Fletcher, incomplete.
Tough play. I think Dominique did a good job of trying to get position, but just as she was about to make a play, Fletcher reached in and knocked it away.
Finney takes the reset. Riot, after the turn, back in a junky look here. Alyssa Weatherford's doing a lot of running. Setting the mark no matter who has the disc. Stern stumbled, bumped into Nazaroff, no call. And there's a stoppage.
Uncontested.
Nazaroff, bold throw, turned out to be overly ambitious with Khalees Cardenas getting the block. And Griffith bouncing up and down on the mark with Weatherford picking up. This is a Seattle O point. They're trying to hold to go back up 7-5. They lead by a couple breaks. Nice soft toss up the line. Zahnizer centers to Stern. And now it's Soper to Weatherford, who's got to be tired after running as a rabbit in the Riot zone. But she's unmarked. What a throw. Weatherford slices it up the line to Kawhi.
As you said, quite an ambitious throw through a bunch of Riot players not too far away. Then you gotta credit to Riot. On the turn, they maintained composure. They did a good job of quickly taking each open pass until Weatherford was right outside the end zone. She was unmarked, didn't see anything she liked, and didn't rush it. Nazaroff came up, finally put on the mark, and still Weatherford took the time to try and find one of her teammates. Took a bit of a blady throw to make this happen, but Riot composed down the stretch.
So Kawhi involved in her second score. And Weatherford, who is having one of the best years of her career. In the conversation among the top handlers in the game, crafty thrower. One of the leaders of this team for a very long time. Done a lot of coaching in the Seattle area. I wonder why Seattle produces so many great players, because they have so many good coaches. Alex Snyder. Would have been fun if she fired that deep. Instead, a laser to Kaler. And here's Howard. Back to Snyder. Fury needs to convert here, otherwise Riot will take it to half with a third break. And there's a turnover out of the reach of the acrobatic bidding Kaler. Johnson to Titcomb. And that somehow got past the bidding Helton and found Stern. It was Zahnizer. Johnson. And Riot has taken it to half. Lindsey Wilson in the end zone for Seattle. 8-5. Riot unbroken and looking confident.
Things not going Fury's way, and Riot stomping down and taking the shots necessary to capitalize on Fury's mistakes.
Riot 3 of 4 on break chances. Lindsey Wilson has won a national title before in the mixed division. She was on the 2007 team known as Shazam Returns. Also on the Disc Northwest team that won YCC in 2007. Lindsey Wilson takes it to half, and it is the 50th anniversary of the sport. Last night, a Hall of Fame ceremony inducted, among others, the great Dominique Fontenette into the Hall of Fame, yet she's still playing, and now she gets to chat with Ian Toner.
Thanks, Evan. Dom, first of all, the 50th anniversary of Ultimate. You get a great honor inducted into the Hall of Fame. How have those celebrations been for you this weekend?
Great. I mean, a little bit distracting from what I came here to do today, but awesome.
Riot's got a 3-goal lead going into half. What do you think has been the decisive factor in that first half?
Defense. Period. Defense. Intensity on defense.
Looking ahead to the second half, what do you think your team needs to do to avoid complacency and capture the victory?
I mean, it's not over until it's over, so you just got to keep going.
You've been a part of so many great Fury and Riot battles over the years. How is this one shaping up so far in your mind?
It's just like all the other ones. They're such a good team. We're a good team. It comes down to who's executing their plan and how the other team responds. And I think that's what we came to do. So this is just like all the other ones.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time. Go get to your halftime huddle. Evan, back up to you.
Yeah, great to hear from Dom Fontenette among the Hall of Fame contingent here in San Diego. It was special to be a part of it last night. We're at the half. Seattle over San Francisco, 8-5. Seattle Riot only turned it over 3 times in the first half, and that is the lead. The margin at the break, 8-5, and Seattle will start on offense in the second half as well. Take a look at some of the highlights. There were no turns, Meg, in the first 3 points. Very little wind, and the offenses both looked in gear.
Yeah, coming into this, Fury looked like Fury at the top of its game. Things clicking, firing on all cylinders. We saw some really great play from Sarah Griffith. On the other side of the disc, Riot was also taking the opportunity to work the disc into the end zone, and then slowly, Fury started to fall out of their rhythm.
Hannah Kawhi, very involved in Riot's success, as was Jack Verju. Alex Snyder has been a part of so many of these rivalry games, and that was just a phenomenal throw from Finney. That made it 2-1, and that was the last time that Fury led.
Here we see the rundown grab from Claire Trope that really seemed to ignite Seattle Riot. That kind of effort from one of their favorite players really got them into high gear.
Yeah, it's something you see from pretty much every team. When a young player makes something happen for a big moment, it gets everyone so fired up. The Trope layout was the first break to make it 3-2. And then we saw some more great individual playmaking from people like Verju and Griffith, but not that time. The D for Heidi, but then the mistake on the reset. No one was home except Kirsten Johnson for the Callahan.
But if you think that caused Riot to lose momentum or lose heart in what they were doing, you are mistaken. Riot continued to surge and work hard as a team. And of course, here we see the fantastic layout D from Vegas. She runs down, cuts hard, and is then the goal scorer for Riot on the other side of the disc. It's almost like that Callahan was a distant memory.
Alyssa Weatherford looked a little annoyed that no one was cutting how she wanted. She wanted to throw the goal, and darn it, she was going to do it. Kawhi in the end zone. And then Wilson to take it to half, 8-5, Riot leads. I'm not sure too many people pick Seattle to beat San Francisco in this game. They haven't beaten them yet, but they're halfway to doing so. What will Fury have in store when we return? Second half, final half, a semifinal Saturday on the way.
Welcome back to Mira Mesa High School. This is the USA Ultimate National Championship semifinals. Seattle Riot leads San Francisco Fury 8-5 at the half. And I'm lucky enough to be joined by one of the esteemed founders of the San Francisco Fury program, Nicole Sprout-Breck. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. Can you share with the newer viewer, someone who's newer to the sport, a little background about the genesis of the Fury team?
Yeah, we started the team. We wanted to bring in a bunch of athletes from the new Stanford college team. And so we took a handful of veterans and a bunch of really athletic young players, and we decided we could make a run at it. And, 20 years later, we still have a team that, we people fly across the country to come and join Fury. So.
You've been a part of so many championships over the years. Is there any single game, a championship game or not, that sticks out to you as the most memorable of your playing career?
Yeah, well, one of the ones that's most memorable was the first year of Fury, and we lost under the lights trying to qualify for nationals. Probably the best well-known is our, comeback at the end of my career, where we came back from 10-2 to win the game, win the Spirit Award, win Worlds, win everything, and I haven't touched a Frisbee since, basically.
But you still have decades of ultimate wisdom. You've been a sideline presence, and you've been in the huddles here. What do you think Fury has to do here in the second half to close the gap?
Yeah, the margins of error are so small now, and I think, one, take care of the disc and make better choices. They made a couple of kind of crucial turnovers that cost them, and Riot didn't give it back. So that and defense. Defense wins championships, so they got to take it away.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you and so many other legends of the sport joining us on the 50th anniversary weekend. Riot leading Fury 8-5 at the half.
First half scoring summary with Riot ahead 8-5. Couple goals for Cryocamp, couple assists for Verju. Carolyn Finney led Fury with 2 assists. But Fury not only trails by 3, they also have to pull to begin the second half. Just after 9 p.m. here in San Diego. It's already Sunday morning on the East Coast. Evan Lepler, Megan Tormey, Ian Toner. We are not tired yet. USA Ultimate After Dark here at 2018 Club Nationals. Seattle Riot looking to stretch the lead to 4. My little homage to Scott Van Pelt, who I appreciate staying up late every night to give me the highlights in his creative and dulcet tones. There's a pick downfield with Weatherford in possession. What's the roadmap for Fury to get back into this game?
They have got to clean things up offensively, which should be easy for a team like Fury. They're going to have to relax, even though we're seeing some defensive pressure from Riot that almost seems to be coming at 1.5 times speed. So if they work to stretch the field just a little bit more, I think that'll help ground them and return them to the kinds of clicking offense we're accustomed to seeing from Fury.
Kawhi resets to Soper. Of course, last game we saw crazy comeback. 10-5 to 10-all, and there's perhaps the beginning of it. Bailey Zahnizer put her face in her hands after releasing the disc.
Talking with Maddie Sang prior to this game, he said, with the top 4 women's team, you cannot come out with your B game and expect to win. That goes for both sides. As you just said, perhaps this is the beginning of a momentum shift. If Riot starts to let off the gas, we may see Fury take it away. You just never can be certain of a victory when you are working with teams as high of caliber as these two teams are.
Anna Reed and Amel Awadel Kareem playing catch, and now Finney comes back to take charge. Awadel Kareem, a Fury rookie. Got high hopes for the type of player she can become. 24 years old, out of Penn State. Reed's throw. Hung on to, quick give and go. Tight space, and Finney corkscrews to the ground with the disc. Claire McKeever set her up in a difficult spot. Finney directing traffic. Looked like she was telling Lakshmi Narayan to come closer from the deep space, and well, it opens up the deep space, but Marika Austin cannot haul it in.
That is a regretful error after Awadel Kareem's beautiful put to get the disc to Finney. Awadel Kareem working around Seattle Riot's crafty little defense.
Up the line, Khalees Cardenas. Weatherford, that's out of the reach of Cardenas. Pretty good defense from Fury. With 3 turnovers, it's the most turns we've had on a point in this game. And there's number 4. And Opie Payne has had a couple different plays in this game that you would want back. And we get a timeout. 4 turnovers into the point. Riot's 0 point to start the second half, and you hate when that happens.
Yeah, you know, playing against someone who has a wingspan like Verjou, you really have to be careful that you don't telegraph the throw. Opie called for the cut she wanted. She told Verjou exactly where she was going to throw the disc, and Verjou recognized, made a slight adjustment, and knocked the disc down.
Our ultimate trivia question: when was the last time that neither Fury nor Riot were in the finals at Nationals? It has been a while. We'll let you think about it and come back to it. Since 2006, Riot and Fury have met in bracket play 10 times in 13 years at Nationals, including this year. Also includes 5 times in the final. Riot has won the last 2 meetings at Nationals, the semis 2015 and 2016. And Riot holds a 10-4 overall lead in head-to-head since the 2015 season. So Riot has had the upper hand, even though I think most have considered Fury the favorite coming into this game. It's all about frame of reference and what have you done for me lately.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Fury won the last meeting. Riot looked a little shaky at regionals, had the loss to Traffic. And from a talent standpoint, these teams have both been kind of indistinguishable in terms of their top-end talent for years. When you played against these teams, did the different teams bring about different mindsets, or are you just pretty nervous going into the game against either one?
Well, you know, they do have very distinct and different feels. Riot is definitely the kind of grinded out team. Fury, smooth sailing. I would have to say that we, when I played for Nemesis, had a much more difficult time game planning a defense that could slow down Fury. We felt like we had a better chance against Riot, which isn't to say we thought one team was better than the other. We just thought we had the skill set to perhaps put up a better game against Riot. Whereas Fury, you know, we really had a very difficult time slowing them down.
I think you said it well. Maybe Fury more known for their precision offense and Riot for their stingy defense, which isn't to say that they weren't great at the other aspects of the game too.
Absolutely.
Awadel Kareem with a laser beam forward. Payne. Back to Awadel Kareem. Been a long first point of the second half. Riot, in fact, has as many turnovers on this point as they did in the entire first half. Pretty good dump defense by Kawhi on Awadel Kareem. And instead it's Payne connecting with McKeever. Takes the reset. Austin. Opie. pick. Players make the Whiff Diff International candelabra logo, which is a signal for a pick. Howard El-Karim, one-handed snag. Didn't have an angle to get it to Austin. Takes the reset to Reed. Finney converts. Finally, that smooth end zone offense that you were alluding to. That is a break for San Francisco. And it's 8-6.
Nice patience from Fury, working it around outside the end zone until they saw an open cut coming in, free from that frenzied Riot defense.
First break of the game for Fury. Lakshmi Narayan wide open in the end zone. And Finney fired up. Narayan, Fury veteran in her 10th year on the team. Another Dartmouth product. Talked a lot about Princess Leia this evening, especially with Brute Squad. Also with Claire Trope and Jack Verjou. And then there's Finney, who is a really good high school basketball player. I think I remember her saying that she went to the first meeting for the Ultimate Club because there was going to be free pizza. And she ended up staying and playing a little Ultimate too. But she went for the pizza.
You know, I think that's a lesson that all college programs should learn.
Right.
Put out free pizza, you are going to attract a Carolyn Finney.
Megan and I will come too.
Right.
Let us know when.
Yeah, it needs to be said, you're going to attract some people you don't want, but you'll also get Carolyn Finney. That's a promise.
Pull out of bounds, so Titcomb will pick up in center. In the backfield with Johnson and Snyder. Molly Sinnott, Lindsey Wilson initiating cuts downfield. The reset forces Johnson to bid. Swafford and Mercer also cutting downfield on this Riot O-point. Taylor on the mark. Sinnott to Swafford. I know she's got big throws. Takes the reset, Johnson. Here's the big throw. Snyder sending it. Wilson can't get there.
Wilson closed an impressive amount of distance, but just not enough.
So halftime seemingly has stifled the Riot momentum, because Riot was rolling. A 4-1 run to take it to half. And now Fury, another opportunity to get back within one. Reset to Mag and Lou. Here's Nancy Sun. Sun, another Fury veteran in her 11th year on the team. New Jersey native out of MIT, formerly played with Brute Squad. Trying to get another matchup with her old team tomorrow. Our Championship Sunday coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific time here in San Diego. The mixed final at 10 a.m. The women's will be at 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern.
You thought it was here? Okay, it doesn't matter. Continuation rules keeps it here.
Check with her.
Souls one.
Men's final between Pony and Revolver will be 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Foul called. Marissa Mead has possession.
Okay, coming on three, coming on three.
Those three.
Stay tight, work on. Only this point only.
Nazaroff to Griffith. To Sun, here we go. Sending Kaler. Couple defenders peeling off, but Kaler left her feet and came down with a score to bring her team within one.
Wow, I thought she was going to get that running that down.
She wasn't taking any chances.
Absolutely, leave no doubt this is a Fury score.
Spectacular snag from Beth Kaler. Another SportsCenter top 10 nominee. More importantly, back-to-back breaks for San Francisco. And it's a one-goal game.
How about that put from Nancy Sun? She is one of those players who inspires the rest of her teammates. There have been a few individuals who say the player they've looked up to in their ultimate career is Nancy Sun.
Yeah, a common refrain in the Fury huddle. So that hawk will certainly fire them up. And Kaler didn't need any help getting fired up. She's ready. 8-7 timeout Riot. Maddie Sang on the right side of the screen. Remember, he was the third-year coach for this 2008 title, and today clearly not 10-1, but a 8-5 halftime lead. Seattle had the disc to start the second half a bunch of times, frankly, to make it 9-5. Could not do it. That's ultimate. Talk about the impact Maddie Sang has had on this program, on the ultimate community. The players talk about just how easy he makes it for everyone to buy in and develop trust. And that, as much as anything, is the culture that he has instituted in the San Francisco women's program.
I spent a lot of time talking to a former Fury player, Erin Ferrari, née Percival, who said, 2005 was a rebuilding year for Fury, but it was a really positive one. They had made a lot of changes culturally, so even though they didn't win it all, it still felt like a really good year. So they were already on a positive trajectory, and then Maddie Sang came along. And I asked her, what made him such a difference maker for you? And she said, well, the culture had already started to shift, but he came and laid out ideas so succinctly, so easily. It was very easy to build the kind of winning program off of that cultural shift and the way Maddie laid things out for the team.
He tried to retire a few years back, and that didn't last very long. Maddie Sang and his wife Arlie had their first child, Amari. She was down in the field in her Fury gear. She'll be 3 in early November. Riot resets for Kawhi. And now Cardenas back to Weatherford. Griffith on the mark. How many times have they gone head-to-head through the years in practice? That's a respect matchup there, showing how important Weatherford is to this Riot offense. And Griffith denied the reset, so now it's not Weatherford's hands. It's Kawhi over to Cardenas. Plenty of touches for those two tonight. Good D by Narayan on Soper. And the stall count rising. It's Verju tumbling to the ground to come up with the disc. Eight, 7 Riot leads. Oh, Cardenas. She had her teammate wide open. It was Cryocamp who had a bunch of steps at the back of the stack, but Cardenas with the holster. And a stall was called. Going back to Cardenas. See if it stands. Yes, indeed. Gorlin counts off the stall. Earlier in the possession, you saw Cryocamp wide open with Finney chasing, but Cardenas holstered. And it took a while for her to get marked, but when she did, she had nowhere to go. That's a great grab by Nazaroff in traffic. Fletcher. Nazaroff over to Finney. Lakshmi Narayan. Why not? Griffith, Laser, Fletcher. Looked off Narayan. Takes Finney. And we're tied. 3-0 run for Fury to start the second half. 8-all.
Can't wait to see that replay. Looked almost like threading the needle. Have to see how much space there actually was. There's the push pass from Narayan as the stall count was rising. It's a nice, quick momentum for Fury. Riot defense clamps down. Yeah, that was a tight margin. And Verju was there making a big bid to try and stop it.
Nazaroff saving possession with Kawhi approaching. And Carolyn Finney, a little give and go with Alden Fletcher. It's the fourth assist of the game for Finney. And Alden Fletcher, veteran, been playing Ultimate for 16 years. Fletcher hauls in the score. If you're wondering, we're about 15 and a half minutes away from soft cap. It is kind of surprising that it feels like we're not going to get to 15 considering the pace we started tonight. The second half has really slowed down.
Yeah, you just never know what you are going to get with this matchup.
No one was cutting. And it's easily knocked down by Kayla Helton. Awadel Kareem picks it up. Fury looking for their first lead since the score was 2-1. Taylor, quick dish back to Reed. Awadel Kareem runs it down. The near bid from Rodenberg. A near block on the bid from Rodenberg. Helton, end zone. Austin, inbounds. But there's a call.
That's my mistake. That's my mistake. That's my mistake. Two of us went up. That's my mistake.
It's assumed it was in the throwing motion?
Yeah, it was after the release.
After the release?
Well, I don't know when it was in or you. Okay, so.
In the throwing motion? Or both? Okay, so it's an automatic clearance situation. Yeah.
Fury has taken the lead.
Awad Karim was instrumental in that point. She pushed the pace of the offense. Here's the turnover before things start going Fury's way. That throw to no one from Riot. And then Awad Karim marches that disc up the field. She is throw and go and there for her team all the way. Looks like there was a foul afterwards, but play on because it didn't impact the continuation of the play. Fury score.
Yeah, you can see them calling a foul, but it was a completion, so you do play on. And certainly the call didn't impact anything that happened afterwards. Marika Austin hauls in the score. Well, we seem to have taken another turn.
Dominique Fontenette said it herself in the halftime interview. This game is not over until it's over.
Have not seen a ton of Fontenette on the field tonight for Riot. Payne on the pull. Snyder centers to Weatherford. Deep shot. Khalees Cardenas, among others, in pursuit. And it falls to the turf, incomplete. Riot cannot get anything going right now offensively. Finney sets up the huck. This one is intercepted by Snyder. One Syzygy teammate picks off the pass of another. Snyder intercepting Reed, and then rising at the right moment, Zonizer resets to Johnson. And in the back of the end zone, out of bounds. Cardenas had the lane. Johnson saw it. Khalees, for whatever reason, halted her cut. And then by the time she could get there, it was too close to the back line. She had to bid. Third turn of the point. Second for Riot. Finney with the disc. Launching. Griffith. Got it. Payne. Oh, that was a little tricky. Here's Reed. And a travel was called. Payne swings it. Finney is in. That is 5 in a row now for Fury.
That throw from Finney to Serge literally could not have been more perfect. And then watch Fury endure some incredibly intense pressure from Riot. Here, right on the doorstep, the call travel. Reed steps back, and then look at the way Riot is set up. Fury knows they don't stand a chance trying to force it into that end zone, so they work it all the way around. And here's another shot of that throw from Finney. Just absolutely perfect. Through two Riot defenders to get to Serge.
Carolyn Finney, 7th-year Fury member, began the sequence and ended it. The huck and the score. And after trailing 8-5 at the half, Fury has scored 5 in a row. Carolyn Finney involved in half of her team's scores in this semifinal game. Doesn't look like she's done yet either. Helton on the pull. Finney also has a pair of blocks in the game. Trope ahead. Mercer. Titcomb. Another former Brute Squad player, Tina Titcomb. As Johnson to the brink of the goal line. And there's Vegas hauling in the floater from Steph Lim, who happens to be a former Fury.
Johnson has said she likes to be able to do for the team whatever they need from her, which primarily means that as her flexibility to play either offense or defense. But it also means that she's going to put forth the effort to be wherever she needs to be for her team and make the kind of effort necessary to ensure that Riot is still putting points on the board.
Why, in your mind, was this offensive point so much easier than the previous 5, where Riot was broken 5 times in a row?
You know, I think they got things going a little bit faster. As this game has carried on, Fury's defense has gotten a little bit tighter. And that has, the fact that Riot moved things along a little bit faster helped them get to the end zone. They also didn't try any untoward long shots, which a couple of those have come up completely short. So moving it closer, working in the red zone worked for them.
We saw Riot come up with a string of breaks in the first half. About 6 minutes away from soft cap here in the semifinal. Finney back out there on O, along with Alex Snyder, who's been waiting for an opportunity to play offense in the second half. So is Maggie Rudin. Marissa Mead, Decree Howard, wide open in the middle of the field. Kirsten Johnson. Howard so calm and efficient with the disc. This one floated too far in front of Finney on the reset.
And that was just a miscommunication. It looked like Finney was perhaps going to make a strike cut. The disc was already sailing the opposite direction.
Kind of a punt, unless Trope can make a heroic catch, which she can! Off the Griffith deflection. We will certainly need to take a bunch of looks at that. But Riot still with work to do. Goodness. Idy was peeling off the cut. Titcomb threw it anyway. That's a throw to no one, but check out this grab from Trope. Certainly would have been sweeter for Seattle if they could have paid it off. Finney unwinds. Rudin in pursuit. Maggie Rudin. She didn't need to bid, but she's so good at it. 11-9 San Francisco. Another assist for Finney coming right at you.
I have watched Fury take charge of so many games at National year after year. Maybe someday I'll be able to pinpoint exactly how and why they are so good. But one thing that I'm realizing tonight is they have a squadron of individuals who, when necessary, when called upon, can just put up an amazing game. Last year in the finals, it was Alex Snyder. Tonight, Carolyn Finney is having herself an absolute baller game, and it is all the difference for San Francisco Fury.
Fury has taken a timeout after the dramatic score, Finney to Rudin. Let's go back to the trivia question. When was the last time neither Fury nor Riot were in the finals at Nationals? The answer, the year 2000. Boston Lady Godiva beat Portland Schwa 17-12. We know that one of these teams is going to be in the finals, so it will be the 18th consecutive year that either Fury or Riot or both have been in the finals. Before or after 2025, when does that streak end?
I have to say after. I mean, you think about the program that Fury has developed, the program that Riot has developed. It's bigger than any one individual player. This level of greatness is not going away anytime soon.
Before or after 2030, when does that streak end?
Let's see.
You want to keep going after?
No. How old will our children be? How old will Bennett and Rowan be?
Our children will be going for the Callahan right around 2039, 2040, around
Okay,
that.
maybe that's when the streak ends.
Okay.
Unless, of course, our children play for Riot and Fury. But
That's true. Look out.
right. Just you wait, world.
There's some Fury and Riot children that are shaping up to be pretty good,
that's
too.
a really good point. Yeah, Maddie Sang said his daughter, Amari, has gone on so many trips for Ultimate tournaments that the games she plays for Pretend involve packing her bags or going on an airplane. That's how her imagination works, because she's so focused on the Ultimate lifestyle.
That is freaking awesome. Charlie Mercer launching. Hannah Kawhi. Yes, sir.
One of the prettier looks from Riot in recent points.
Good looking toss from Mercer to bring Riot back within one. Again, going back to the last time that neither of these teams were in the final, when Lady Godiva won, that was Godiva's 5th title in 6 years. They would go on to win 7 titles in 8 years from 95 to 02. And after that, Fury won their first title in 03. Riot won their first couple titles in 04 and 05. Then Fury won 7 in a row. So you had that 10-year stretch when it was only Fury or Riot winning. Scandal finally got the East Coast off the schneid. 2013, Opie Payne, Jenny Fay, Sandy Jorgensen. And Mercier was so big on that 2013 team. Then Brute Squad 2015 and 2016, and Fury got the West Coast back into the title column last year. Soft cap went off. Kaler's throw was a little bit of a whimper, but it got to Griffith. And there's a layout block. Rachel Bradshaw willing Riot back in it. By the way, soft cap will go on after this point. It'll be either 12-10 game to 14, or as Riot would prefer, 11 all, game to 13. Trope fires. Not gonna work. Helt in the block. Snyder picks up. Clancy, good chunk, and now the deep shot. Kaler to Johnson. She's got it. Just barely snuck over the outstretched reach of the defender, and it's 12-10. We'll play to 14.
That's a major execution error from Trope. And nothing but perfection from Fury.
So Kirsten Johnson delivers. She has fit in well in her first year with Fury. Battling her way back from a concussion that limited her playing time this weekend a little bit, but she's looked very good in the semifinal tonight.
And Maddie Sang had something very interesting to say about Johnson prior to Nationals. He said, the moment isn't too big for her. It's not that she doesn't appreciate it, but even though there are so many amazing players on Fury, she isn't too in awe of anyone or anything to make the appropriate play, as evidenced by her Callahan earlier and that beautiful score right there.
You saw the 7 on the line for Riot. Meanwhile, Charlie Mercer trying to work the crowd into a frenzy with the "I Believe We Will Riot" cheer. Good gainer, chunk play to Rodenberg. Dom Fontenette, the Hall of Famer. She's not the only one on these two teams currently that will be in the Hall of Fame, but she is the only one that is currently in the Hall of Fame. And you have to learn how to count pretty darn high to figure out all the players that are on the field tonight on these two teams that are going to be in the Hall of Fame. No joke, I'd say it's definitely double digits.
I do not disagree.
Feels like triple digits. Stern to Verju. Just beginning her career. Snyder needs a cutter. Good defense from Fury until it wasn't. Shira Stern gets to the front of the end zone. Ian Toner undoubtedly gritting his teeth about another defender getting beat to the cone.
Stern is a tough matchup to have. She is so wily down in the end zone. Fury knew that going in, always tries to put a very tough defender on her, but just watch how wily she is at getting open.
Beat Mag and Lou to the edge. So it's 12-11. Game that started off on serve through the first 4 points. Riot got the game's first break on Claire Trope's great layout at 3-2. On serve to 5-4. And then Riot broke to go up 6-4. Kelly Johnson from Cassie Swafford. And after Fury made it 6-5, a hold to make it 7-5 and a break to take half at 8-5. But whatever Fury said at halftime, bottle that stuff up, because San Francisco stormed out of the gate in the second half, scored 5 in a row. Go from 8-5 down to 10-5 up. Riot back within one. Fury with a disc, needing 2 goals to win. Maggie Rudin. Nazaroff marked by Titcomb. Snyder hassled by Eide. Downfield it's Howard, chased by Sinnott. Serge Griffith threw it before Kelly Johnson could even set a mark. Kaler lefties it past the bidding Bradshaw. And now Nazaroff swings. Johnson. Lim starts the count. Johnson gets it back. Griffith had a step toward the pylon, but a foul in the stack. Halts play.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
We have an injury.
Injury also. Injury.
We've got a
Take
foul
one.
contest.
Okay.
And an injury.
There's an injury sub.
And you're saying offensive.
White, do you want one
foul,
off?
right?
Yeah, I just felt like she was talking. I just want to call him because she got it. I know
So we didn't see it. Okay. So
Any
it's just
white
going to be a foul
subs?
contest.
Okay,
Is that
thank you.
Cool. Does anybody on Riot need one? Riot? All right.
Asked Maddie Sang before the game about Alex Snyder. He said she's still absolutely in her prime as a leader. Riot in the end zone. That's Cree Howard in her 11th year on the team. Gets Fury within 1 goal of another trip to the final.
I think Howard wasn't even certain that she was in the end zone. What a nice surprise to look and realize you are behind the pylon.
Fury 5 of 6 in the red zone in the second half compared to Riot. They've got 3 red zone turnovers in the second half. Beth Kaler has been very solid in the San Francisco comeback. Howard originally from Montana. Started playing at UC Berkeley. On the USA World Games team in 2009 and 2013. Battled back from the torn ACL a couple years ago. It's going to take a hold and then back-to-back Riot breaks if Seattle is going to survive. Riot did beat Fury in the semis 2015 and 2016, losing a brute squad in the final both years. Fury beat Ozone last year after we were all anticipating a Fury Riot showdown, and it did not materialize. Verju forced to make a tumbling grab because of the proximity of Narayan defensively. Soper to Weatherford. She's got Stern under, and she missed her. Throw a little bit behind Shira. Fury can win it right here. But they won't. Narayan way behind the play. Riot needs to capitalize on this. Soper pivots it across for Cryle Camp. Looking for Verju. The skying score for Jack. Seattle holds. And now it's San Francisco's turn on O to try and put it away. After a while, just send it deep to Verju, right?
When in doubt, there's very little that can go wrong when Verju's in the end zone. As I've said multiple times this broadcast, and as Verju has proved again and again, the bodying out, the size, the field awareness, the vision allows Verju to be such a dominant athlete in the end zone against anyone who attempts to match up.
Verju not on the line, instead on the sideline for this must-break point for Riot. You see Rory Titcomb aligning, Bradshaw, her sister Chyna, Charlie Eide, Kelly Johnson, Claire Trope, Hannah Kawhi. The other end, the veteran Alex Snyder. Carolyn Finney does not look nervous. Kirsten Johnson has been super steady. Beth Kaler, Cree Howard, Serge Griffith, and Maggie Rudin also out there for Fury, with San Francisco trying to get back to the finals. They've been in the finals 10 times since 2005. Remember, Riot led this game 8-5 at the half, but a 5-0 run from Fury transformed everything. Johnson furiously getting a mark back on Griffith, and now Rudin. To Snyder. Will this be the last point of the day, or will we get one more? Oh, Claire Trope was so close. And then Howard threw it. Was looking for Kaler. Griffith was also in the end zone, but no one recognized. And Riot will have a chance.
Kaler tapped her chest after that, saying, "That is my mistake." That is definitely the connection I was expecting. Obviously, Cree Howard expecting the same.
A cavalier apology from Kaler. Very close to the reset D by Finney. Johnson keeps possession alive. Was this incidental contact, or was it a foul? It looked like Howard hit the foot of Trope as she was lunging for the disc.
I was just running and I caught my feet and it might look like I lit up, but I think I just fell trying to catch it from the head.
Okay, observer ruling, it was a foul. We clipped her before she had a chance.
Observer ruling, foul upheld.
Riot maintains possession.
Hold on.
Wait.
As this game to 14 gets a little spicier. Oh, Sarah Griffith sought it out. Poached away to steal the reset. It's not like she knew Riot's play. Like Seattle had a super secret game plan to swing out from the sideline. But then Trope steals it back for Seattle. willing her team to life on the brink of elimination. There's a pick in the stack. Johnson and Titcomb. And that's going to stay with Chyna, which will get the stall count back to 0. Check out Claire Trope. She's not even 20 yet. And I'm not sure we talked enough about Claire Trope. U24 champion in January. College champion in May. World champion in July.
Yep, it's on you.
Trying to pull off a, I don't even know what you would call it. It would be known as the trope if you could win U24s, college, worlds, and nationals the same year.
You heard it first here. A new term has been coined if Trope manages to pull this off with Riot.
Kawhi back to Titcomb. Finney made it tough. Kawhi gains yards downfield. Bradshaw. And a pick. Gonna stay with Bradshaw though.
Oh, there was a foul. Okay, cool.
Uncontested foul downfield. Kawhi near the sideline, keeps it in to Johnson. Riot, can they force one more point? We're headed to Universe. Gilbert has the score for Riot, 13 all. We got one more. First break for Seattle in the second half. They needed it desperately.
We wait all season for a day of Ultimate as exciting as today has been. Universe point after universe point. And here we come down to the wire with some Ultimate under the lights.
I have to imagine, and I'm bummed that I don't know the answer to this, but 5 out of 6 semifinals going to the brink. Maybe it's happened before. I can't ever imagine all 6. So this feels relatively unprecedented. Couldn't happen at a better time. Celebrating 50 years of the sport. So many of the great games, legends, and dignitaries. Chatted with the founders from New Jersey, Columbia High School, Joel Silver and Johnny Hines earlier today. To see folks like Dan Stork-Roddick and Suzanne Fields, the game's founding fathers and mothers. Imagine they're enjoying this as much as anyone. You see the players on the line, and this is the D-line. Steph Lim, Charlie Eide. Titcomb to pull. Shira Stern, Kelly Johnson, also out there for Seattle. Not the pull you wanted in that moment. I'm scanning the sidelines and very surprised that Jack Verjou is outside the lines instead of on the field right now.
Yeah, me too. Verjou's the kind of person you want putting on defensive pressure and then is a great option if all else fails.
Nazaroff, Snyder, Griffith, Finney, Payne, Helton, and Rudin. Everything on the line right here. Fury, Riot, semis, nationals. Doesn't get any better. Snyder, end zone, Griffith. A storyline that few could have ever scripted. Sarah Griffith eliminates Riot and helps carry Fury onto the finals on Universe.
And could it be anyone else besides Alex Snyder throwing the final throw of the game? Snyder, who has been so instrumental in Fury's maintaining greatness year after year.
Sarah Griffith catches a goal to win a world championship for Riot in July. And a few short months later, she catches the goal to eliminate Riot on Universe in the semis of Nationals. Imagine the contrast of emotions going through her mind right now. In her first Nationals with her new team, it's Fury over Riot. Another chapter of this rivalry gives us the goods. Fury 14, Riot 13. 5 of the 6 semis to Universe. We'll recap it all when we return. The 2018 USA Ultimate National Championships are presented by VC Ultimate, providing Ultimate's best custom team uniforms and apparel since 1998. Visit VC Ultimate on the web at vcultimate.com. And by Discraft, the official disc of USA Ultimate, now available at Midwest Meyer stores and over 2,000 retailers nationwide. Unreal is the word that comes to mind describing the rivalry, another chapter of which goes near the top of the hierarchy, if not right at the top. 14-13, Fury over Riot. For perspective, we go down to the head coach of San Francisco Fury, Matty Sang. He's standing by with Ian Toner.
Thanks very much, Evan. Matty, you've been a part of so many intense Riot Fury battles over the year. Where does this one rank for you?
This is one of the top. I mean, obviously there's been so many, but in terms of the battle and how we had to come back and just our overall defensive performance, this definitely ranks up there.
So you talked about the comeback. Fury was down 8-5 at the half. What did you adjust and say to the team at halftime to turn the tide?
Well, I think in the first half, we saw that what we were doing was working, but not all the way. So we liked our downfield D, and we basically wanted the people who played up front to play a lot tighter and really try to affect those throwers.
You've got a growing and budding rivalry that's adding new chapters every year, every tournament with Boston Brute Squad. What are the 3 things that come to mind when you look ahead to the final tomorrow?
Well, I think the first thing in our mind is that they beat us handily the last 2 times we met them. So obviously with a big chip on our shoulder. Boston is an amazing team. In some ways, like obviously we're both super talented, but I think in terms of our psyche, our personalities are actually pretty similar. And then, you know, like I'm glad we get to go in and play them because I want to beat the best. And right now they are the best.
And tomorrow, if you win, this would be title number 9 for you personally. Is that correct?
It would be.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know you got to get to some game planning tonight.
That's right.
We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Right. Thank you, Ian.
Evan, back up to you.
Great stuff, Ian, from Matty Sang, the legendary coach. Our Discraft play of the game, this game-ending sequence, punctuated by Sarah Surge Griffith wearing blue and yellow. And I agree with what Rory Titcomb said. There's some cognitive dissonance to seeing Griffith not propel Riot, but eliminate them in incredible and brutal fashion.
Yeah, she was so pivotal to many of Riot's, victories in the past, most notably, as you mentioned already, crowning them world champions. For her to so quickly have a turnaround and make such an impact with Fury. I mean, her ability to develop chemistry with a brand new team after 10 years on Riot speaks volumes to her ability to continue to produce as an individual, but to recognize the new system that she's in, make the adjustments necessary, and here we find her, going to finals in a different jersey.
Brute Squad 15-11 over Molly. Fury 14-13 over Riot. Brute Squad and Fury haven't met since August 5th when Brute Squad won 15-11 in the finals of the U.S. Open. A lot has changed since then, certainly, and that should be another great game tomorrow afternoon here from San Diego, California. What a day! What a day! We had the privilege of bringing 4 semis to you. There were 6 semis overall. 5 of them went to Universe, including this final one. San Francisco wins it at the very end, 14-13 over Seattle Riot. We'll be back with you tomorrow for a triple header of championships to culminate Nationals 2018. But for now, we say goodnight. For Ian and Megan, I am Evan. We thank you so much for spending so much of your Saturday with us here in San Diego. All these broadcasts available to watch on replay at watchespn.com. Get some rest. We'll talk to you tomorrow from San Diego.